The community has spoken, so today I'm reviewing ChatGPT's terms of use. And let me tell you, there's a world of difference if you're using it as an individual and not as an enterprise. And I'm not saying there's a difference if you're using ChatGPT for your business. I'm saying that if you're not paying for an enterprise level plan, using ChatGPT is much riskier for you. And I think you should know why. Now grab a coffee or whatever pick-me-up you like because we dive right in. First, in order to understand what we're looking at, we need a framework to structure our review. What should we be looking for when choosing an AI tool? Three things. Number one, we need to own the input and the output. Whatever piece of confidential information I put in this machine should remain my property and no one else's. And if you don't own the output of the AI tool, what's the point of building with it? And you don't want the AI tool to keep any licenses on your content so that they could reuse it for any purposes. Second, you want to make sure your input isn't being used for any other purposes than providing you the services. There should not be any training of the AI model without your consent, and whatever personal information you have on there should be covered under a robust privacy policy. And finally, you need protection from the potential lawsuits from using the AI. We know a lot of AI companies use publicly available data to train their model and that they do not own this data. In other words, will I get sued by someone else saying we stole their intellectual property if I use the output for my business? I tend not to use the tools that will get me sued, period. Now that we've set the table, let's take a look at OpenAI's terms of service. The terms of use are divided in two big categories, for the individual and for the business. Individual terms of use apply to the free, plus, and pro plans, and the service agreement applies to the business, enterprise, or developer plans. So let's get back at our framework point number one, the ownership of input and output. Both the individual and business plan do take the time to clarify that the user owns the input as well as the output. So this is great. There is no weird licenses anywhere saying that they can reuse the content for whatever reason, so this is a 10 out of 10 in my books. Now, point number two of my framework, can the AI use my input for training or any other purposes? Well, there's a difference between the individual plans and the business plans. The individual terms of use say that the AI can use your content to develop and improve the services, but that you can opt out. This means that by default, they can use your data to train the model, but you can uncheck that box if you don't want to. On the business plan, this is the other way around. They say that they cannot use the input to develop or improve the services unless you explicitly agree to such use. So unless you opt in, they cannot use your data to train the AI model. This is a big difference on the large scale of things, but for the individual, it's really just a matter of opting out, so this is not a big deal. And with regards to the privacy policy regarding your data, this is what you would expect from a AAA company. Their privacy policy is clear and well explained. I just want to point out to your attention that keep in mind that when you're using ChatGPT, they will share your information with potential third parties if it protects their legal rights or if they are under any legal obligation. There is no attorney-client privilege here. ChatGPT is not your therapist neither, so you want to make sure you're very careful about not sharing your most sensitive data with the AI model. And finally, we're down to the trickiest, most important part. What are your protections against lawsuits? And the individual terms are much worse than the enterprise level terms on this front. The enterprise level customers, not the business or developers, get an actual indemnification for the output against intellectual property infringement, and there is no limit to this protection. For the individuals, the regular business, and the developers, though, there is no such protection. You actually agree that your usage of the output is at your sole risk, and their liability to you in most cases is capped at $100. So there's a big difference here. Apparently, size does matter after all. All in all, I still think ChatGPT is a great tool to build your business with. There is no ownership problem, and your data is kept at a very high level of confidentiality. But if you are not at the enterprise level, I would be cautious about using ChatGPT's output as is because you may be taking more risks than you would like to. So that's it for me today. See you in the next one.